Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, meditators and non-meditators, to the Culto Divino Buddhisto this Thursday night. As usual, it is me, Michael Taft, leading guided meditation for San Francisco Dharma Collective, sponsored by the world-famous San Francisco Dharma Collective. And tonight's meditation is specially dedicated to Sangha member Carolyn Blair, who's just been diagnosed with severe cancer, and hopefully is watching this from her bed. So Caroline, if you're out there or if you're watching this, we're thinking of you and dedicating tonight's meditation to you. Beyond that, we've been working here in the Thursday night meditations for well over a year. I think something like 15 months, I'm just guessing, about 15 months on non-dual meditation. Right before that, we were mainly doing Vipassana, and then we switched gears, started doing long hour sits, non-dual meditation. Developing the world famous dropping the ball technique. And so if you've been working with me for that long on non-dual meditation, hopefully by this point, once a week for, over a year, you're starting to get the hang of the do nothing or shikantaza or, dropping the ball style meditation. And if you're getting the hang of that, you're noticing that this awareness that is there all the time, kind of behind and within everything, you're noticing that more and more, and you're noticing that it's there. It's always there. It's always both the center and the surround of every experience. It is experience. And you may notice that it starts to give you an interesting kind of confidence because you realize it's always there, it's always clear, it's always bright. The body may hurt, the mind may be filled with a bunch of chaos or garbage or even beautiful thoughts, but it's full. The world around you may be very confusing or upsetting or whatever. Anything can be going on in body, mind, and emotions and the world and people around you. But that awareness is always the same, right? It's always vast. It's always very clear, very vivid, right? Bright. And it's always kind. It's always loving. And that experience of this awareness that's always there tends to give us, over time, a sense of confidence, a sense of ease with the world, and a sense that no matter what, everything is on some deep level okay, and we can work with it, right? Life is workable one way or another. It may be difficult and complex or just plain painful in various ways, but it's workable because of this vast awareness, this clear, bright, lucid awareness. It brings a kind of deep sense of wholeness and a sense of resilience and a sense of sanity, right? That there's just sanity. And that no matter how insane or difficult the mind or body or world is, beneath it all is this perfectly clear, bright, still ocean surrounding and interpenetrating all of that of pure, radiant peace and kindness, right? It is the ground of our being. So I want you to tune into that sense of confidence and the sense of support, of buoyancy and of lightness, this kind of um, floaty quality of being held up by the awareness as we begin our meditation now. So, with that sense of confidence, with that sense of ease, let's begin doing our shamatha with an object. As usual, use whatever object you want as your basis of concentration, as something to hang on to. Um, Looking at an external object, listening to an external sound, creating a visualization in your mind, or a mantra in your mind, or both, or simply being with the breath at the nose or the breath in the whole body, or feeling your body sensations, right? All of these are typical shamatha objects, and all are, equally powerful, just depending on uh, what one you like the most or have the most habituation with using in your meditation. So begin doing that now. And as usual, I will guide you to help your body relax while you do this. But first, let's just quietly sit for a little while, at least a minute or two, uh, getting focused, allowing the cares of the day to drop away and to get settled in our dhyānasana, our meditation posture, with a nice meditation mudra, sitting like a mountain, the world mountain, in fact, the center of the universe, Mount Meru, to sit as if you are the turning axle of the universe, the one still point around which everything turns. And let's just do this together for a few minutes. Good. As you're continuing to focus on your meditation object, in the background, I will guide you in some relaxation, as usual. We're going to do the relaxation in the reverse order and start with our toes and feet, allowing all tension to drain from the toes and the feet, feeling them relax and become open and soft. Your ankles and shins and knees releasing, all the tension draining away into the earth. Your thighs relaxing, your hips relaxing, the hip joints, the butt, the whole of each leg, just letting go, releasing, becoming limp, like liquid, The legs become like liquid. And feel the release as the legs become water. And just tune into that letting go, letting go, letting go as all the tension flows away into the earth. Now feel all the tension releasing from your pelvic region and the belly and the kidney area behind the belly, anything in your guts and your diaphragm opening and releasing. Feel the whole area turning to liquid and then just draining away, all tension just draining away into the earth. So that there's zero tension in your pelvic region or in your belly or in your kidney region. And your diaphragm is relaxing, relaxing, relaxing. It all just feels completely open and gentle and at peace, completely released. Now notice your upper chest and under your arms and your behind your chest, in your shoulder blades, and everything in between, just turning to liquid and then draining all tension away, becoming completely open, relaxed, soft, peaceful, and completely gentle. Just feel the ease that penetrates the entirety of the body as it just opens completely. Now feeling the arms and the hands and the fingers just go limp and turn to liquid, allowing all tension to just flow down into the earth, completely flowing away, leaving only openness and space and ease and a real sense of delicious energy throughout the body. Allowing the shoulders to liquefy and drain away, and the throat and the neck to turn to water and just drain all tension away. Being replaced with delicious, bright, clear, fresh, clean energy throughout the whole body. Just relaxed, open, bright, clear energy. Then allow your tongue to relax, your jaw to open enough that the teeth are not touching, your lips, your mouth, your cheeks, your face releases, turns to water, relaxes, all the tension drains away. Your eye muscles relax, your eyelids become very gentle and soft, your eyes defocus, your forehead and scalp and the back of your head just turn to water, all the muscles of the face liquefy, and all the tension drains away. So that the entirety of the body just drops all care. The entirety of the body, you simply release all tension now and notice how it's replaced by bright, fresh, clear, clean, delicious energy that's very, very, very relaxing and very open and free. So let's continue to do our shamatha, bathing in this totally relaxed, totally open and clear energy together. Good. Now let's switch to doing dissolving with the out breath. So on the in breath, We're feeling the sensation of breathing. We're feeling the body with air. We're feeling the energy of the air relaxing and vivifying the body very clearly. On the out breath, we're just allowing the breath to go out into space and the mind itself to go out into space with the breath and dissolve. So, in breath, feeling the body, feeling the sensations of breathing, feeling that mild anchoring. And then on the out breath, the mind just dissolves into space, dissolves into space over and over again. So, let's work with that now. When the mind dissolves into space, all that's left is awareness. It's not some kind of nothingness, it's bright, clear awareness with no content of any kind, simply open awareness. No thoughts that we're contacting, no even sensations that we're contacting, just vast, spacious experience. Each in breath is the birth of a new world. The body, the mind, thoughts, feelings, the world around are spontaneously generated out of the void, tremendously rich with energy and vivacity and brilliance and clarity. fresh and new. The world comes into being, form arises from nothing. With each out breath, the reverse happens. Everything dissolves into just emptiness, into just pure space. Bright, clear, knowing, awake space. So the universe is born and dies in each cycle of breath. Each in breath taking in tremendous fresh energy, bright, clear, vivid. Each out breath releasing all tension, all dullness, all of everything. Good. Now on the next out breath, dissolve into space and then just stay there. On the in breath, there's just more vast, open space of awareness with no content of any kind. If content arises, which it probably will, just remain completely uninvolved with that content. We do not tighten around it or allow it to form into any kind of tension in the mind or engagement with the mind or grasping. Instead, we simply stay relaxed and dissolved into space, pure awareness itself, remaining utterly uninvolved with form. Each time the mind tightens up, grabs onto something, rests on something, just relax and allow it to dissolve. Just relax and allow it to just evaporate back into space. Notice that to engage anything at all, to hang on to a thought or to follow the breath or to listen to something, all of that takes effort. And so we're just relaxing that effort, simply releasing that doing and allowing ourselves to be. If you find yourself growing sleepy, just open your eyes, sit up straight, allow their mind to remain bright and clear, very fresh, very alert, simply unengaged with any content. You may find yourself engaged with content, and all you do is relax. Just let it run off on its own and come back to simply vast, spacious awareness, bright and clear, crisp and empty. Good. Now, allow awareness to notice thought arising, if thought is arising. If there's none there, just stay with vast, spacious, open awareness. However, if thought arises, notice that thought arises out of this vast sea of awareness. And that if you allow the awareness to really notice the thought clearly, you will see that inside the thought is awareness itself. The thought is almost a kind of wrapping around just pure awareness. So allow awareness to see the awareness within the thought. Notice that this is not a viewer. You are not over here looking at the thought over there. The awareness is already inside the thought. It does not need other awareness to look at it. So just be aware of this awareness within each thought. Over and over again, as thought arises, notice that it arises from pure awareness. It's made of awareness, and it has a core of pure seeing, a core of pure awakening within it. It is not somehow different or separate than awakening itself. You may also notice that between one thought arising out of awareness and composed of pure awareness, that then disappears back into pure awareness, and another thought of the same kind arising after that, there's a space between them of just pure awareness again. So thought arises, it's just made of pure awareness inside, and then it vanishes. And then there's just the space of awareness. And then another thought arises within that space of awareness, also with awareness as its core. But between the two, there's just that moment of just open, vast, spacious awareness again, over and over again between each thought. Just vast, limitless, timeless being. So see if you can notice that between each thought. We usually think of the mind as composed of thoughts, but notice that really the mind is awake, aware space. And within that awake, aware space, every once in a while, some thought is arising. And the thought itself is just kind of a congealed version of this awareness and is filled with awareness and is not separate from awareness. So, beneath our turbulent experience of thinking, our turbulent and chaotic experiences of mind, we see there's this perfectly limpid, clear, deep, brilliant depth of awareness that is always still, always bright, always pristine, no matter how much thought is occurring. Tune into that now and be with it. crucial to do this with as little effort as possible. If you notice a sense of a doer or a watcher arising, someone fulfilling the meditation, notice that that too has a core of pure awareness, just space of awareness. It arises, the sense of self or sense of a doer or sense of a watcher arises from vast spacious awareness and has a core of awareness and returns to vast spacious awareness. And that between a moment of self arising and then passing, and the next moment of self arising, there's just awareness, vast spacious awareness with no self at all. And that the awareness is what remains. This sense of self is transient, is illusory, is just a kind of wrapper around awareness that comes and goes. It arises and passes over and over again, while the awareness remains. Over and over again, notice that the space of awareness is vast and clear and bright And anything that arises there, a thought, a feeling, a sound, a sight, or even a sense of self, all of this is just composed of awareness. It's just a wave that arises out of the awareness and passes back into the awareness. The awareness itself remains completely undisturbed, completely at rest, completely open and relaxed and vivid. This is seeing. See clearly now. The nature of awareness and the nature of experience. Everything that appears to be a thought, a feeling, a body, a self, a sound, a sight, a taste, a smell, a feeling, a world is all just pure awareness. Nothing but awareness. And awareness itself is empty. Good. Now let's end the meditation, allowing yourself to wiggle your fingers and toes, maybe move your head around, looking this way and that way and up and down. Feeling free to move and stretch, have a drink of water or tea, and generally let go of the meditation for now and feel free to type any questions you may have in the chat window. But notice that nothing has ended. Notice that any idea of the meditation ending, any idea of bell, any idea of anyone doing a meditation or ending doing a meditation, that's all thought and feeling and sight and sound and so on arising in awareness. In terms of awareness itself, nothing has changed. We never start meditating or end meditating. We never do anything at all. Awareness is just aware. So even now that you're done meditating, you can still contact that same awareness. In fact, in one way of looking at it, you can't contact anything but that pure awareness over and over again, more and more deeply, more and more completely, more and more totally in timeless, spaceless, non-dual awakeness. So we'll pretend that we've ended the meditation, but of course, nothing has changed. It's funny that we take everything to be so permanent and so real, in whatever that word means, so solid, permanent, and changeless, when in fact our experience is just the opposite. If we look closely at any experience, it is tremendously transient, tremendously ephemeral, continuously changing, continuously empty. Now, empty doesn't mean that it's not there or that it's somehow void. There is an experience, but there's no experiencer and there's no thing being experienced. In fact, if you do this meditation, this non-meditation, enough, you'll notice in your own experience that the sense of a experiencer, the person who seems to be watching the thing, and the sense of a thing that is being watched arise together. You can't have one without the other. The sense of a watcher and the sense of a thing being watched arise together. But really, there's just watching. There's just watching. There's no thing being watched. There's no watcher. All that's there is pure experience of watching. And the sense of a seer is some feelings that are also just experiences. The sense of a thing being watched simply arises whenever the sense of a watcher arises. So these two poles of perception are illusory. They're things we generate. They're fabrications that the mind grinds out. But it doesn't have to. It's just a habit that we have. And so you'll notice that the sense of the self being real is related to the sense of the exterior world being real. If the exterior world starts to seem very thin, weightless, like a dream or some kind of projection, very often the sense of self will also seem thin, weightless, like a kind of projection. The two go together, usually. So we've got some questions coming in here. Let's see what they have to say. Fanmai says or asks, it's hard for me to see the sense of self arising and passing away. It seems like something quite stable in perception. It seems like thoughts, body sensations are impermanent, but there's something that seems stable, but I don't recognize it. Yeah, so what is a sense of self even made out of? Of course, in classic original Buddhism, we would say that it's the five skandhas. Sometimes they would say it's 4 elements or 5 elements. In this way of working that we're doing, we would say that the sense of self is made of thoughts and feelings. And so if the thoughts and feelings, which you put thoughts and body sensations, same thing, if those are impermanent, that's the sense of self being impermanent. Anything else that seems stable behind that is just awareness. And notice, awareness is not located anywhere. It's not coming from anywhere. Anywhere or particular wheres, places are arising inside awareness, not the other way around. Awareness is not arising inside a place. And so if you're noticing something that is truly stable, or let's say that seems stable, investigate it carefully. Either there's some subtle thought and feeling there, for example, the tightness or feeling around your eyes, or maybe a feeling in your chest area or something. There's usually some really subtle but pretty obvious feelings that make up this sense of self combined with the whatever thought stream. But if all those feelings and all those thoughts seem to be impermanent, seem to be empty, seem to be not me, not mine, the only thing left is just awareness. And awareness has no center, awareness has no location. Awareness is not coming from anywhere. So look into that very, very carefully. And my Jeff is saying, when panic brings lightheadedness, the feeling of collapse, is there still awareness that can be contacted? How can I have confidence in that type of experiencing or that type of experience? As you may know, Jeff, I got into meditation something like 40 years ago, even longer than 40 years ago, because I was experiencing a lot of anxiety. And so I really understand that feeling of panic and collapse and stuff that you're describing. It's very known to me. And what I'll say is that what is aware that it's panicking? What is aware of lightheadedness? When you ask, is there still awareness that can be contacted? The question is backwards. Awareness is always there. That's how you know you're panicking. How would you know you were panicking if there wasn't awareness? How would you know you were lightheaded if there wasn't awareness? How would you even feel like a person? How would you even have a thought or a body sensation if there wasn't awareness in the first place? So when you ask this question, is awareness still there that can be contacted? Yes. And you don't have to contact it. It's already there. Awareness is what's doing the contacting, right? There's the question's kind of inside out, right? And yet that's how we think. That's a very normal way of thinking. That's how I thought too. But as you look at this clearer and clearer, you'll see Any sense of panic arises in pure, still awareness. Any sense of lightheadedness, or a person who needs something, or a person who's trying to contact, all of that is simply the show, the game of phenomena arising in awareness. There's just nothing there but awareness. You can trust this completely. Just keep looking. David says, asks, could you expand on what you mean when you say that awareness is bright? Yeah, prabhava, right? What is this bright? That's the term they're using in Sanskrit and Tibetan and all these various languages. They keep calling it bright, but they don't mean that it's bright like a light. In fact, sometimes vast spacious awareness can seem dark. So it's not bright like a light. What they mean, it's a metaphor meaning it's awake, it's alert, it's knowing, it's experiencing. So whenever I say it's bright or it's vivid, I'm translating from the original languages, but the idea is it's awake, it's alert, it's knowing. It's not necessarily like a, spotlight or something. It's a common metaphor, though. We have it in most languages. So it kind of makes sense, but don't get confused that it's supposed to be like a white light or whatever, even though lights like that can arise in your meditation. Awareness is the thing that's noticing the light. Diana Justal asks, I second the panic question, struggling with surrendering into vast spacious awareness when high anxiety arises. Don't struggle. As soon as you're struggling, you're further lost in the delusion, right? If you're struggling, you've already bought into the whole idea that there's a person who needs to do something to notice this awareness. And in a way, the struggle is like when, a spider weaves a beautiful web and a fly lands in the web, and the web is covered with glue-like sticky liquid. If the fly were to just fly away, pull away, it could probably escape. But the fly struggles. It wriggles around a bit. And the minute it wriggles, more of its body touches the glue, the sticky stuff, and the strands of the web get wrapped around it. And of course, then it becomes the spider's lunch. And so it's the same thing. The minute you're struggling, all the attention goes into the struggle. And now you're a person who's struggling with a problem to see awareness. And it's so absurd because, of course, the only way you know you're struggling is because of awareness. The only way you know you're anxious is because you're already aware. The awareness is previous, it's prior to everything. There could be no experience without it. So awareness is not the special thing that you're trying to contact. It's doing the contacting. If we want to, it's really not doing anything, but if we're going to say it in any way, it's the thing that's pretending it's struggling. It's the thing that's pretending it's having anxiety. It's fundamental. So if you're struggling in this exercise, give up. Don't give up the exercise, give up the struggle. If you're having anxiety during this meditation, just let it be there. Just notice that anxiety is arising in awareness. If that's too hard, which I understand, it can be just too hard to do, then come back to the shamatha with an object. Come back to, for example, contacting your breath and just breathe and relax and breathe and relax and breathe and relax until things stabilize enough for you to relax into being awareness in a knowing way again. Ashmin says, can you explain what it's meant when it is said, when you are aware of awareness, there is no content? It seems to me there is always content there in experience. Yes, there's content arising, but we don't have to engage with it. And this is what's interesting is awareness is just aware. But engagement with content is an activity. And we know this because you can pull back from engagement with content and just rest in awareness. When you do that, it's a kind of total relaxing. And the more that you do that, you'll notice that the actual content, or let's say sense of content arising, may begin to diminish quite a bit. And there's just awareness of awareness. But that could be further down the road. And if content is arising, we're just not engaging with it. Non-engagement with content during that part of the meditation, during the part that's called dropping the ball, right? We're just allowing, we're just allowing, never gripping. So, and this is a deep and subtle point, is that even though experience or like content may be happening, it takes the mind grabbing onto it for us to have an experience of it. And we can learn to relax that gripping. We can learn to relax that grabbing. So that may not be obvious yet, but it will be. Marie C., who I think is Marie Caruso, says, miss you and everybody. Miss you too, Marie. It's been so long. I haven't seen you all in person in so many months. Who knew we'd get all the way to the end of July, almost August, and still be all socially distanced, at least here in the completely absurd situation in the US. So amazing, right? Okay, so the time has come to switch gears. Watch this. I learned to drive a car with a manual transmission. So from the very beginning, was driving with manual transmission, not automatic. So we'll press in the clutch, shift into a different gear, let the clutch back out. Now we're in a different gear. We're going to begin talking about generosity, talking about how these guided meditations are sponsored by San Francisco Dharma Collective, and asking for donations for San Francisco Dharma Collective. So if you are both feeling the generosity and have the money to give, please give generously to San Francisco Dharma Collective. There will be a link in the chat. If you can. If you can't give, even if you're feeling tremendously generous, but you just don't have the resources to give, that's cool. We provide these meditations for free every week, absolutely for free for everyone who watches them, and hundreds of people watch them. So that's free for all those folks. But we appreciate donations and we need the donations. So if you're feeling generous and you have it to give, please give to San Francisco Dharma Collective to keep these meditations going. And of course, you can also give to my Patreon, or which there will be a link after this is permanently posted. So let's see. Someone's saying they had another question. Matthew Russell. I don't see any. Oh, there we go. You're asking about the order of the meditations. Just watch them in order. Some of the early ones from a long, long time ago, the sound is just terrible. So if you're noticing the sound, not like the interruptive type sound, but the literal quality of the microphone was bad. So if you're noticing a lot of that, that's like maybe the first 8 or something. And you can just skip those. There's a page on my deconstructingyourself.com website which if you're watching this on YouTube, you can always go to deconstructingyourself.com. And there's a page in there where I say a huge page of just non-dual meditations. And it's really the first, I think, about 25 of these. And the first maybe 6 or 8 of them, the sound is bad. After that, they get great. You can just watch them in order. You'll see how we kind of, as a whole Sangha, developed this way of working together. A lot of it live. It used to be live in person. May it someday be live in person again. I cannot wait to be in the same room with all you wonderful, brilliant, crazy, shaggy, smelly, insane human beings who I adore. Wouldn't that be so much fun? Someday we'll do it again. Beyond all the plagues, beyond all the chaos, beyond all the injustices, we will get together again someday. I'm holding on to the hope that we will get together again. It would be so great to see you. Okay, so let's meditate again for just a few moments, silently. And I'm not going to ring a bell for the start, but I'll ring a bell for the end. So just go ahead now and begin another bit of meditation. All together now. Together, spread throughout the entire interwebs. All right, y'all. Thanks for showing up tonight or whenever you're watching this. It's always such an honor and just a tremendous joy to lead meditation and talk with you and be with you all. So see you soon. Bye-bye. Have a great one. Good night. Be well.